They built 7 autonomous empires to prove they needed no one. Then chose to stay anyway.
Hooligan, watch this beat going hooligan.
The solo divergence began with pure human connection rather than stadium-sized spectacles. On the 28th of October 2022, he avoided hyper-produced trends, complex lore, or high-concept alter egos for his solo debut. Instead, the track leaned heavily into pure vulnerability, utilizing warm acoustic arrangements and an open-hearted vocal delivery. When he enlisted on the 13th of December 2022, he officially started the timer on BTS's solo era. The visual execution for the astronaut mirrored his personal transition following an alien wandering through quiet suburban landscapes before ultimately choosing love and home over his space vessel. Following his discharge on the 12th of June 2024, Jin immediately stepped back into the public eye as the group's sole active representative. Instead of hiding behind large group choreography, on the 15th of November 2024, he advanced his solo campaign by dropping his debut studio album, Happy. He pushed the record through 2 distinct visual formats: the energetic retro rock lead single, Running Wild, and the pre-release rockabilly track, I'll Be There. Jin established his definitive role as the group's emotional anchor and mass-market equalizer. By anchoring his promotions on intimate fan-con tours rather than massive arena spectacles, the live shows stripped away elaborate choreography to focus entirely on raw vocal stability and unscripted crowd interaction. The astronaut surpassed 1.4 million physical copies sold in its first week, and his subsequent post-military fan-con tour sold out instantly. Jin executed this entire solo victory lap, while the remaining 6 members were still wearing military uniforms, providing the first definitive proof point of the era. An artist who can captivate global crowds with nothing more than a microphone and absolute transparency. While Jin grounded the solo era in unadorned pop sentiment, V rejected standard commercial formulas altogether. His debut solo album, Layover, dropped on the 8th of September 2023, taking a sharp left turn away from mainstream K-pop conventions. He intentionally bypassed fast-paced dance tracks and heavily processed synths, driving his aesthetic through 3 interconnected music videos: the smoky lo-fi R&B lead single Slow Dancing, the muted piano chords of Rainy Days, and the melancholic vintage of his pre-release track, Love Me Again. These tracks were explicitly built for quiet, late-night listening rather than radio saturation, a display of total creative stubbornness that answered strictly to his own jazz and R&B instincts. The visual rollout for Layover was intentionally muted, shot on vintage 35mm film grain with cinematic pacing that captured unscripted, mundane moments of daily life. On the 11th of December 2023, V enlisted in the military alongside RM, successfully applying to serve in the Elite Special Task Force unit of the Capital Defense Command. He completed basic training on the 17th of January 2024, earning recognition as an elite military trainee, and served out his full term with distinction before his official discharge on the 10th of June 2025. V's specific role in the ecosystem emerged as the group's aesthetic vanguard and tastemaker. By pushing a deeply niche, historical soundscape, he expanded BTS's cultural reach far past the typical pop bubble and into the high-end spheres of vintage jazz, soul, and indie cinema. Despite making zero concessions to standard pop radio formats or aggressive viral choreography, Layover sold over 2 million copies on its first day, setting a record for a Korean solo artist. He proved that an artist can command massive sales figures while operating as a complete creative sovereign who answers to no one. Following V's organic aesthetic pivot, the group's leader elevated the solo era into high culture prestige and museum-grade artistry. On the 2nd of December 2022, RM released Indigo, a project he framed as an archival record of his late 20s. The album's sonic architecture built toward an explosive narrative climax on the lead single, Wild Flower, which substituted synthetic pop loops for sweeping orchestral strings, live drums, and the raw rock vocals of Eugene. To reinforce his theme of timeless, gallery-grade art over disposable chart hits, he highlighted sophisticated album track Still Life featuring Anderson .Paak, performing live sessions inside the Dia Beacon Art Museum in New York. The visual aesthetic for Indigo leaned heavily into minimalist indigo-dyed tones and gallery-style curation. This active creative output didn't stop when he enlisted on the 11th of December 2023. While serving in the military band, RM engineered a radical sonic departure by releasing his second solo album, Right Place, Wrong Person, on the 24th of May 2024. He completely broke away from the melodic indie folk of Indigo, dropping a claustrophobic, experimental, indie psychedelic lead single titled Lost. And a raw, abrasive underground hip-hop collaboration with Megan Thee Stallion, titled Never Play. He maintained a highly acclaimed artistic presence right up to his military discharge on the 10th of June 2025. RM solidified his unique position as the group's intellectual architect and prestige anchor. His solo work bridged the gap between underground global hip-hop and the elite institutional art world, elevating BTS's reputation from a highly successful pop act to a respected cultural institution. Indigo debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200, making RM the highest-charting Korean solo artist on the chart at the time of its release. His second album, Right Place, Wrong Person, earned widespread critical acclaim and prominent placement on year-end lists while he was still wearing a military uniform. RM proved that his intellectual identity as a curator and songwriter could thrive completely independent of any corporate or group platform. As RM cultivated high art credibility, the solo era reached an emotional flashpoint that rewrote global streaming history. On the 24th of March 2023, Jimin released his debut solo album Face, a razor-sharp exploration of loneliness, reflection, and self-discovery. The narrative was pushed through a calculated musical duality. The dark, aggressive choral chants and earth-shattering brass drops of the pre-release single Set Me Free followed immediately by the synth-heavy 80s pop R&B primary music video, Like Crazy. Jimin co-wrote Like Crazy, grounding its high-gloss production in unfiltered vulnerability about his personal struggles during the pandemic, a total pivot toward raw emotional exposure. The music video for Like Crazy matched this turbulence, using neon lighting, reflective surfaces, and chaotic club imagery to convey emotional disorientation and intoxication. Shortly after, on the 12th of December 2023, Jimin enlisted in the military alongside Jungkook under the Companion Enlistment Program. While on active duty, his creative build-up continued to dominate with the release of his second solo album, Muse, on the 19th of July 2024. Fueled by the massive brassy pop R&B lead single Who, the project ran a relentless streaming campaign. While Jimin was completely removed from public promotional activities prior to his discharge on the 11th of June 2025, Jimin defined his critical function as the group's visceral performance engine and digital core. By combining unparalleled theatrical dance with devastatingly honest internal narratives, he weaponized the exact elements that make K-pop so gripping on a massive global scale. Like Crazy famously debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making Jimin the first South Korean solo artist in history to top the chart. His subsequent record-breaking run with Muse proved that his audience connection didn't rely on active media appearances or group reinforcement, establishing him as an emotional epicenter whose solo metrics operated completely independently of the BTS brand. While Jimin claimed the Hot 100 with raw vulnerability, the group's youngest member targeted total pop dominance across Western mainstream radio. On the 14th of July 2023, Jungkook released 7 featuring Latto, launching a relentless solo campaign explicitly engineered for global scale. Built on UK garage rhythms and infectious acoustic guitar loops, the track instantly dominated global airwaves. He systematically expanded this Western pop strategy on the 3rd of November 2023 with his full-length album Golden, an English-language pop record crafted alongside elite international producers. To demonstrate his versatility, Jungkook pushed a multi-track radio onslaught, tracking from the syncopated pop-funk of 3D featuring Jack Harlow to the massive retro soul and high-velocity choreography of the primary performance music video, Standing Next to You. Jungkook executed high-profile promotional stops across the United States, including a surprise live concert in Times Square that drew thousands of fans and effectively shut down city blocks. On the 12th of December 2023, at the absolute peak of his solo commercial momentum, he enlisted in the military alongside Jimin, later completing his mandatory service with distinction before discharging on the 11th of June 2025. Jungkook stepped into the role of the group's mainstream titan and ultimate pop weapon. He proved that a single member of BTS could go toe-to-toe with the biggest Western titans on global top 40 radio without watering down his identity. 7 made history by debuting at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, Billboard Global 200, and Global Exclude, becoming the fastest song in Spotify history to surpass 1 billion streams in just 108 days. Golden moved millions of units globally, cementing his position as a pop titan capable of carrying stadium-level production entirely on his own shoulders. He achieved historic commercial metrics before ever putting on a military uniform, leaving zero doubt regarding his standalone power. The solo era pushed beyond radio hits and into the demanding proving grounds of Western rock festivals. On the 15th of July 2022, jhope released Jack in the Box, discarding bright pop aesthetics for industrial hip-hop, heavy distorted guitars, and dark themes. He established this aggressive sonic shift through 2 cinematic music videos, the grunge rock rap track More and the industrial fire single Arson. Weeks later, on the 31st of July 2022, he took the main stage at Lollapalooza in Chicago, becoming the first South Korean artist to headline a major United States music festival. He performed a grueling 70-minute set without guest appearances or group backing, controlling a crowd of over 100,000 festival goers with pure stamina and raw stage presence. On the 18th of April 2023, jhope became the second member to enlist in the military, serving as an assistant drill instructor in the Army. He completed his service and was officially discharged on the 16th of October 2024. Following his return, he highlighted his musical roots via the bright, funk-inspired hip-hop single Neuron, and immediately announced his 2025 solo tour, Hope on the Stage, picking up his solo career without missing a single beat. jhope asserted his role as the group's sonic disruptor and live performance standard. By intentionally breaking his sunshine archetype to command alternative, non-K-pop spaces, he broke down major genre barriers and forced the Western live industry to take the group seriously as raw, unfettered musicians. Jack in the Box debuted at number 17 on the Billboard 200, while his Lollapalooza headline set broke all-time ticket sales records for the Chicago Festival. Music critics praised his ability to command an alternative rock audience using raw hip-hop energy and flawless execution. J-Hope proved his total self-sufficiency before enlisting and doubled down on it after his discharge, establishing himself as an elite live performer who could step into any territory and own the field entirely alone. While the rest of the group captured global pop and art markets, the narrative shifted to the member who transformed raw underground hip-hop into a historic touring empire. On the 21st of April 2023, Suga released D-Day under his alter ego Agast D, completing a trilogy of deeply personal hip-hop projects. The album's core identity relied on an uncompromising visual and lyrical narrative, driven by the cinematic, knife-fighting music video for Hagum and the brutal trauma-confronting single Amygdala. To add immense tension to his solo run, he contrasted these heavy instrument-driven trap flows with frantic raw rock rap tracks like Huh, featuring J-Hope. Instead of relying on standard promotional setups, he immediately launched the Agast D Tour, writing, producing, and starring as a solo arena headliner. The tour production was intentionally stark and cinematic, featuring a shifting stage that literally disassembled piece by piece throughout the night to symbolize dismantling his past alter egos. Between April and June 2023, he performed 28 sold-out arena shows across North America and Asia entirely on his own strength. Shortly after wrapping the tour, Suga enlisted on the 22nd of September 2023, serving as a social service worker due to a prior shoulder injury before his discharge on the 21st of June 2025. Suga claimed his structural role as the group's industrial core and raw emotional historian. By converting intensely private pain and underground rap structures into an arena-scale touring product, he proved that BTS's narrative depth was a powerful economic engine. The D-Day tour became a massive financial triumph, landing Suga among the highest-grossing Asian solo touring acts in Billboard box score history. He achieved the largest individual touring milestone of the entire solo era before stepping away for service, leaving zero doubt regarding his standalone artistic authority. After nearly 4 years of separate global conquests and individual records, 7 self-sufficient empires quietly converged back to a single point. By June 2025, all 7 members had completed their mandatory military obligations. On the 1st of January 2026, the members confirmed the official comeback date through handwritten letters to fans. On the 20th of March 2026, exactly 3 years and 9 months after their solo divergence began, BTS released their 14-track studio album. The industry initially anticipated a fragmented compilation album designed to appease 7 different solo fandoms. Instead, the comeback album contained 0 solo cuts and 0 subunit tracks. The primary music video, Swim, served as the absolute emotional thesis of their return, balancing an alternative pop pace with a highly sophisticated arrangement that blended the members' voices together. They balanced this sonic diversity with stadium-scale anthems like Body to Body and the melodic, pop-rock track Normal, alongside deep emotional cuts like Please and Into the Sunday. The record made music history as the fastest group release to hit platinum in the United States in the past 18 years.
Watch this beat go and hold again.
The most remarkable thing about BTS is not that they became the biggest group in the world. It is not the billions in revenue, the cultural diplomacy, or the stadium records. It is the undeniable fact that they could have stayed separated forever, dominating the charts as autonomous acts. By proving they could all dominate alone, they completely flipped the industry's power dynamic. And after everything they conquered alone, they came back anyway.